In a world where the line between reality and fantasy fades away, where silence carries a secret, and every whisper tells a story. Welcome to The Whisper of the Narrator. Here, tales are not just told, they are lived. Souls are reborn through words of mystery and magic, where fear, passion, and destiny intertwine. Every story you hear here will awaken something within you. So listen closely. The whisper begins now. Are you ready to listen? Chapter 4. An incredibly beautiful woman. I don't understand, I said out loud, with my head in Violet's lap. After our blood-sucking session, I lay in Violet's lap while she stroked my hair. What do you not understand? She spoke in a maternal tone. My emotions, I said, then continued. I've always been a calm, rational person. My mom always taught me to use my head in any kind of situation. But I don't understand why I'm losing control of my emotions. It's a very strange feeling. Violet, who was still wearing a black bra, looks at me and flashes a small, maternal smile. You're doing better than most newborns. Don't worry, this is normal. This is normal? I questioned confusedly. In the vampire movies I watched with my dad, vampires always seem to be in control of their actions. I guess I shouldn't take knowledge of movies to reality, huh? Well, I can't help but list them considering I watched a lot of movies with my dad. He was a hardcore movie fan. Yes, vampires feel things more intensely than a normal human. It's because of this problem that we live in isolation with other vampires. Just imagine, you're walking down the street calmly, and you accidentally bump into a vampire. If that vampire is a newborn, he will be extremely upset and will want to kill you. That is ridiculous. I can't help but comment. Indeed, but it's not just that. Love, hate, fun, etc. All of our emotions are amplified. There are a lot of vampires who are crazy because of that. Oh, vampires seem to be a problematic race. Come to think of it, I accepted this situation too easily, huh? Well, it's no use crying over spilled milk. At least now, I won't suffer from constant anemia because of my blood type. Suddenly, I hear footsteps approaching. I look in the direction of the steps and see the blonde maid again. Miss Violet. The blonde maid looks at me and Violet for a few seconds. She looks at Violet again. Miss Violet, please dress appropriately. We have a visitor. Violet looks at the maid with an annoyed look. I realize she wasn't upset with the maid. She was upset with the guest. I get up from Violet's lap, and my eyes turn red. As I look toward the mansion's entrance, I see the silhouettes of a man and a woman, and both their necks are glowing red. Vampires, huh? I commented in a neutral tone. Violet looks at me, with her eyes shining. That skill of yours is quite useful. How far can you see? She looked like a child who found something very interesting. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. I don't know. I've never tested the limits of my abilities yet. I spoke honestly. Violet nods, a little disappointed, and gets up from the couch. The maid approaches a wall and gently pushes a part of it. Soon a wardrobe of black clothes appears. But, for some reason, there are men's clothes too, and the men's clothes are also black. Choose any outfit and get dressed, Victor. I had prepared the clothes for you beforehand. Ah, I've wanted to say those words for a long time. She speaks with an excited smile. Choose any outfit, but it's all the same. I look at Violet with a neutral face when she gets close to the wardrobe. I can't help but think, a long time, huh? Just how long have you been watching me, Violet? Suddenly, a woman who is wearing a modern maid's outfit appears at my side. Lord Victor, please dress appropriately for the visitors. They may be lesser beings, or maybe insects. They may even be pigs who came here to be downcast. But you, as a noble vampire, must always dress appropriately. The maid spoke in a neutral tone that held no emotions, but I could feel her contempt for her guest. I look at the maid. She has short black hair, black eyes, and her expression is always set with a poker face. Looking at the maid's features, she looks oriental, and she's very short. She must be around 160 centimeters. What's your name? And Lord Victor? Why are you calling me that? I ask, confused. This maid's name is Kaguya, and you are Lady Violet's husband, so, of course, we as servants should call you with respect. She spoke as if it were obvious. Hearing what the maid said, I open my eyes wide and quickly turn to Violet, who is being dressed by the blonde maid. Seeing my questioning eyes, Violet displays the most beautiful, loving smile I have ever seen and says, unlike the movies you've watched in the past, vampires have several restrictions on turning other beings into vampires. The first restriction you already know. The human must be a virgin. The second restriction was created by our ancestors. When creating a new vampire, a ritual must be done. When the ritual takes place, a magic circle appears on the ground. At this moment, the vampire responsible for the ritual must choose whether the human they will transform will become the husband or slave of this vampire. She pauses. Slowly her eyes begin to change to blood red. Then continues, when I turned you into a vampire, I chose you to be my husband. So it was that magic circle I saw in the memories, huh? Unconsciously, my eyes start to change to red as I look at Violet. And I can feel something I can't explain. It is like I'm being filled with another life. It's a really weird feeling, but it's really good. It's the same feeling I get when I feed on Violet's blood, but at the same time different. I can also feel emotions that aren't mine. I feel happiness, love, and obsession coming from Violet. These emotions are so intense that I feel overwhelmed for a moment. Can you feel it? She spoke in a loving voice as she touched the area where her heart was. She was breathing erratically, and I could see that the air around her was starting to heat up. Oh, yes, I said honestly. I try to focus on that feeling, and I can feel Violet. I can feel all the emotions she is transmitting to me. But unconsciously, I turn my head and look in a different direction than Violet, and I can feel something incredibly faint. It was like I felt a connection somewhere else, an extremely weak connection, but I couldn't pinpoint the location of this connection I was feeling. This is proof of our connection. From the moment I turned you into a vampire, you became my husband for all eternity. You became my darling. I turned to look at Violet. When she spoke those words, she had a crazy smile on her face. It was a dangerous smile, but at the same time, I thought that smile was beautiful. A very beautiful smile indeed. She definitely had a head problem, and I think that just for the simple fact that I'm taking this very easily, I must have a head problem too. But honestly, I do not mind. I display a small, happy smile. It looks like I'll see you for years to come. So I hope you take care of me. Honey, the last word almost didn't come out of my mouth. After all, I didn't know if it was right. I didn't know what it was to have a girlfriend. Much less did I know what it was to have a wife. But I felt it was appropriate to call her that way. Suddenly, Violet's smile grows erratically. She suddenly appears in front of me and hugs me tightly. Yes, I will take care of you, my darling. It seems I triggered some kind of button in this woman's body. She started hugging me and sniffing me. While saying, darling, she dragged her hand all over my body, like she was trying to possess me or something. She looked incredibly adorable. Unconsciously, I started stroking her white hair. Feeling my hand in her hair, she suddenly froze and stopped moving. She turned her face towards me. As we were almost the same height, I could see her face very close to mine. As I caressed her, I asked, "What happened? Why did you stop?" Aren't you annoyed or irritated by my attitude?" she asked in an untrusting voice. "Why would I be? I think you are incredibly adorable," I replied honestly. Ugh, she put her hand to her chest. It was like she had been hit by something in her heart. Yes, indeed, Lady Violet is definitely at a point of no return. Kaguya spoke as the blonde-haired maid approached Natalia. Shh! Natalia made a silent gesture to Kaguya. Kaguya just nods. I look at myself and realize I was wearing a black suit. I looked shocked at my appearance and at Kaguya's hands holding my old clothes. Wait, that's my underwear? How could I not feel her undressing me? Kaguya made some hand gestures. I am a professional employee of Clan Snow. I would be surprised if Lord Victor could feel me undressing him. These hands have been trained to undress any man or woman, no matter what gender. I must comply with my duty properly. As a professional maid, I take my duty very seriously. She spoke in a flat, unemotional tone, but I could feel an unshakable confidence in that maid's tone. Okay? I didn't know what to say. Actually, what am I supposed to say? I just thought that and turned to Violet, who was still in a state like she was dreaming. She was giggling in low tones as she spoke quickly. She seemed to be delirious. She's definitely in a state of no return. I should notify Lady Violet's parents, Natalia said as she walked towards the door. Well, isn't that interesting? A very dedicated maid, a blonde maid who doesn't seem to care about her master, and a quirky master. I think vampires are weird beings, huh? Although the blonde maid is not a vampire. It took a while for Violet to wake up from her state of illusion. Or I don't think she's fully awake yet. We were in a different room. I was sitting on the couch, and Violet was sitting next to me as she hugged my arms with a little smile on her face. She looked like a very respected noblewoman. It seems like her attitude I saw a few minutes ago was all an illusion. I look around and can't help but wonder, how many rooms does this mansion have? This room looks incredibly similar to the one I was in. But I feel this room is different. For some reason, I feel uneasy in this place. It's like I'm being watched. I use my vision that changes my world to blood red, and I could see why I felt that way. This room was surrounded by vampires. I did a brief count, and there were 20 vampires? And they were all over the mansion. It looks like this place is bigger than I thought. I look down and see some red silhouettes in the basement too. I also see that the only human in this mansion is Natalia, and she was actually in the basement, sitting with 2 more vampires. And she seems to be eating something. Lady Violet, I didn't know you were, dating. The vampire who was sitting across from me started to speak, but he was interrupted by Violet. He's my husband. She spoke in a neutral tone that carried a lot of happiness. I didn't know you were married. The man spoke. I look at the man, who is accompanied by a woman. He is a tall man of 190 cm, with short black hair slicked back. He was wearing a white suit and glasses. Overall, he looked like a successful lawyer. The woman, who was looking at me like she was looking at prey, has short black hair. Her haircut looks like a Karen's, and she was wearing a normal work suit. She's shorter than the man and must be around 170 centimeters tall. Coincidentally, her name was also Karen. Violet displays a small smile and speaks while her eyes are closed. Lucy, I don't think you should know something about my life. Why don't you go back to your mommy, who gave you that feminine name? She spoke in disdain. Damn, woman. That was wild. Is it okay to talk like that to a guest? Not that I care. Lucy gently adjusts his glasses as his hands shake a little. Cough! He pretended to cough and looked at Violet. Lady Violet, you're right. He leans back on the couch and says, I came here for one reason only. I want permission to bring a lot of vampires to this town. Oh, I start watching the man. Violet opened her eyes, and they were glowing red. Lucy, this is my territory, and I don't accept other vampires in my territory that aren't connected to my family. You know that, and yet you come to ask me about it. Are you looking for war? I wouldn't dare. I intend to live for a few thousand years yet. I don't intend to offend Clan Snow for something small like this. He spoke with a small smile. Violet remains silent and waits for Lucy to continue his words. You know, Lady Violet, I'm a very scared man. I'm very scared of dying, and because of that, I need to defend myself. I don't want to die from a bullet in my head." He spoke while making exaggerated gestures. Violet opens her eyes a little. She seems to understand what he was trying to convey. Then she continued in a bored tone. "The Inquisition. And so, the whisper fades. But the story never truly ends. Each tale hides within it a new beginning. Perhaps even another life waiting to be told." You've been listening to The Whisper of the Narrator. If this journey touched your soul, don't let it end here. Subscribe, stay, and listen again. For the next whisper will be deeper, darker, and more beautiful.